NAMI Georgia is excited to celebrate first responders who have used their crisis intervention skills to help someone with a mental health crisis. The First Responder Awards Celebrating Strength and Empowering Hope series is excited to highlight these individuals and those they have served across the state of Georgia. Their stories illustrate best practice techniques for other responders who meet similar situations in their everyday work. Join us as we celebrate first responders who build and empower their communities.
I chose Officer Rakestraw for this award because he decided to use one of the most important tools on his belt. He used his crisis intervention training instead of his weapon, instead of his taser, instead of any other tool that could have escalated the situation. He decided to use a tool that de-escalated the situation and allowed a man to be able to connect with him and give him resources that he needed instead of jail time.
So I'm Johnathan Rakestraw. I'm a police officer here with Brookhaven Police Department. Crisis intervention, it starts with listening, right? Listen to their problem. Maybe they're not saying anything, but like you listen to the family, you listen to the friends, you listen to the people that like, what is the norm? Back in May, this gentleman lived with his sisters. He had a home health care nurse coming by trying to assist with the mental issues that he may have been dealing with. He had been regularly taking his medicine, but then we see it often with people struggling with things. There will be some sort of conflict in their life. The sisters and him had to move. They had to get a new apartment. So that spurred that conflict that he stopped taking his medication. And from there was just decline. He had started, barricading his stuff against his bedroom door, really kind of locking himself in, closing himself off, closing up. The crisis intervention, first you got to recognize that, hey, there is a crisis here, right? That's where you start your framework. There is a problem. What is the problem? One of the first indicators of somebody that's in crisis is, what are they doing, right? He stopped taking his meds, stopped eating, started barricading himself. Then he stopped talking to, everybody. Like in this situation, we ended up having to push the subject. We ended up pushing through his door, nice and slow, not trying to build on that conflict, but really trying to actually address the issue that was there. Once we were inside the room, you could tell that he was uncomfortable. We don't want to push that envelope too far. Hey man, where's your shoes at? Like, can we help you with your shoes? You start asking, not necessarily about a situation, because that was where the conflict was. You start talking about something completely different. Where's your shoes at? Hey man, can we get you some food? You're thirsty. You kind of steer it away from whatever is creating the problem, right? In his case, the creation of the problem is he's losing his apartment. He has to go to a new place. He doesn't want to do that. We don't have to talk about that anymore. Let's talk about your shoes, talk about your food, talk about your clothes, talk about, something else that, that this person finds comfort in. And then we could build, like going back to, that initial thing, we build that conversation on his shoes. Once I got him his shoes, you could see there was a hint of relaxation, a hint of, hey, this guy isn't here to get me. He's not here to hurt me and stuff like that. Once we got outside, like the conversation, just trying to steer him toward a medical solution, trying to get him into the ambulance, talk to like a doctor or a nurse or the paramedic, trying to steer him toward that. But the rapport had already been built with me, right? So once we get that rapport built, separate him from all the other distractions. Sitting him in my little police car was not a easy task to do. So he had a pair of headphones in his room. So like I knew maybe possibly listen to music, sit there and talk to the guy beside the police car for a minute, trying to build a little bit on that rapport. Hey man, what kind of music you listen to? Let's listen to some music, right? So like we went from shoes, mumblings and grunts or, whatever, to like, we went back to the fear once we got outside. And then we're at a car. Now I have that other thing to build on. This gentleman happened to like Tupac. If he likes Tupac and he's not under arrest, there's nothing wrong and you're there to help him, give him some Tupac. And that's what I ended up doing. And he completely chilled out. By the time we got to hospital, it was almost to where we were having words. Like we were talking. Like it's just, I find in these situations, like he's just a person. Everybody's got everybody something that's important to them, whether it's a dog or their family or, a hobby or whatever. This gentleman liked music, so really lean on that thing. It's like, it's kind of humanizes both of us. Hey, this is important to you. This is, hey, I can appreciate this thing. That's it. Just sit and talk to the person. Patience, creativity, and you kind of get some. That's how I found success most of the time.
NAMI Georgia's mission is to empower affiliates to create communities where all affected by mental illness find hope, help, and acceptance through support, education, and advocacy. To learn more about crisis intervention, volunteer opportunities, or get more information about mental health and our affiliates, please connect with us. NAMI Georgia would like to thank our partners, especially the John and Polly Sparks Foundation.